And we're live everywhere. Yep. Excellent. Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing well. Can you all hear me? Okay? Make sure, because I don't have the normal interruptions I have with the sound. Oh yeah, I think I know why. I believe we're good. All right, excellent. Let's go ahead and get started. Technology be damned. That is not true. The tech pays my bills. All right, excellent. Let's jump right into this week's Driving Beyond Borders. Good morning, afternoon. It's morning. Yeah, good morning, everybody. For me, it's morning. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a productive week. This is Nnamdi Henacho, and I'm excited to be coming to you from this, what I call the space now, my uh, uh, the African American Collective, Atlanta Studios. Yes, you declare it until it happens. And today I will be speaking on a topic, driving why community is still the real green card in 2026. Now, in 2026, paperwork still matters. And if the last few weeks have shown us anything, it's that community matters just as much and sometimes even more, right? It's all year. I mean, and this has been my big advocacy, my big voice is community, 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 right? For us as immigrants and especially Black and African immigrants, 2026, we can't afford to do this journey solo. It's so important that we are beginning to form start forming coalition and critical mass. um but my goal today is really just be very practical and hopefully just leave us with things that we can do or we can start doing now. And again, like I said, we live in a very for those of us in the United States, I mean, that's who we serve. Typically or ideally, it's without being overly dramatic, this is 2026 has been an interesting year for immigrants, and that's putting it very lightly. The realities of the day, policy shifts, enforcements. I feel like since I've lived in the United States, this has been the most loudest. Let me use that word. It's been the loudest in terms of enforcement and just overall almost bordering on xenophobic, if I would use that word. Right? There's just this held like, hey, just go back and what are you doing here? Type been very wild this year. Um, all of that. And then, of course, it doesn't remove the economics of it last year. The numbers within the community, and I'm talking about within the Black immigrant community, the Africans here in the United States, just disproportionately affected by the job situations, the job losses, people that lost jobs. Most of us know somebody, a couple of people who got displaced from work last year, right? So it's a lot of things that we have going on. And again, I don't want to this be a doomsday episode, but it's more for let's a call to action, really. Now, I want to say this, especially with enforcement and talking about why we need community. I want to start from here. Community does not replace legal status. Okay, we have lawyers within the African American Collective who help us answer questions around navigating your path, to ensure everybody is on board and here the right way. If for any reason you fall out of status or something, please reach out. Let's connect you to the right resources, and you can start arranging yourself from there. Um, so community does not replace legal status. However, it reduces isolation. Okay, it reduces isolation. You're not trying to navigate this by yourself, and because in isolation is where you're most vulnerable to make mistakes, right? What it does instead is it increases access to information. Again, you know who to talk to. You can find people who have navigated or gone through what you have gone through, right? It builds resilience. Okay, you are not. y- You feel like there's, we're in lockstep. It's not just you; it's you and a bunch of other people who understand your journey. Okay, who feel what you felt, who feel what you're feeling or have felt it before, who understand it, who when you say certain things, they get it. Okay, right now, if you don't have people around you and you're going through immigration challenges or immigration situations, especially this year, it is terrifying. It is flat out terrifying, and so you cannot afford to just chat GPT or, or your way into legal status. You need to talk to people. You need to be in the middle of people. You need to be amongst people who have navigated this and have stories and encouragement and resources, right? It builds resilience, even when systems feel unpredictable, right? Community is, see it as your social capital. It's not sentiment. It's not for vibes at this point. It's not about vibes. It's not about feeling good. It's your social capital, whether as a professional, who gets it when you want to network, right? It's that's why when we call for things and ask people to come out and be a part of the things we're doing and these free events we put together, it behooves us to show up for these things because we are like within our groups, within our communities, in our WhatsApp, people are sharing opportunities, sharing jobs, sharing, hey, within my, I'm looking to do referrals for this position. If anybody has the skills, these are people who get you, who understand you, and you can speak your concerns to. You can vocalize like, hey, this is where I am and what I'm trying to do. So it's not sentiment. It's not sentiment. All right. And it's so important this year. Like I said, this message, we had this session similar to this last year, and now I'm doing it again and very early because we can't afford to just move as we please or just move like we're by ourselves. I saw something on threads about someone who, you know, had a new employee at their place of work, and turned out they were from the same country. So during the introduction of the new staff, he was loud about saying, hey, this is my name, to make them realize, hey, we are from the same country, we are from the same place. And it seemed like the new staff was not interested in connecting, wasn't interested. And it turns out afterwards, he saw him a few times at the lobby, saw the individual a few times at the lobby, and they had, sitting by himself. And I'm like, hey, what's the deal? Why are you sitting here by yourself? Turns out, well, I leave so and so place, and I have been, I'd have to catch an Uber every day. Turns out where he lives and where this other person who used to work here before lived are 3 streets apart, right? How much money would you save on Uber if you had just said hello to your countryman? Again, I'm choosing a portion of that story to tell and share to push, what, the lesson I'm trying to pass across. It's not the year to fly solo. I know there's been a lot of, there's, we can have this trust within our community sometimes, but um, again, that's why we need to be intentionally choose where we plug in. There's been environments and communities curated for us to thrive. The African American Collective being one of those, and so you can't. Um, you have to jump on board. You have to get with the program. You have to align. Right. That's what this is about. That's the call. So, what exactly does community provide for you? What exactly do you get by immersing yourself? One, information and clarity. Information and clarity. It's so important. Again, accurate updates versus rumors. I can't, again, I don't know how to give expression to this. And I wish I wasn't in this kind of environment. I can be more, give expression to exactly how I feel. But there's so much noise. How much of it is correct? How much of it is not, right? Some are valid, some are not, right? Some information people are feeding to, the innuendo, and some people make a living off fear mongering. Okay, some of the crazy things we hear are accurate, and some are just fear mongering, some are clickbait, some are just noise to get attention, to get clicks, some are clickbait. uh, how do you filter that? How do you verify sources, which you should by yourself individually? But when you're in a community, you can tell exactly what's going on, right? It's almost like, have you seen or heard some things in the news about things that you are very familiar with? And you're like, no, that's not how it is, right? No, that's not exactly how it's happened because I was there when it happened. Or that's not actually true. That never happened. That was never said. Okay, people want to stir up emotions, and online people, sentiments, you can easily stir up sentiments by saying controversial things, by putting things on certain people, by phrasing certain conversations a certain way, or framing certain conversations a certain way. All right, because it drives traffic. People get paid for attention. Attention is currency in 2026. Community helps you filter out the noise, right? You get clarity. You know what's a rumor and what's true, right? You have access to trusted sources and real-time guidance. That is another benefit that community provides. Real-time guidance, uh, um, real time you can verify, and then you get to know what to do or what not to do. Again, it might not be, you might not have, we don't position ourselves as we have all the answers or we have all the expertise in house. But when you come into your own, there's like two, three, four, five people saying, "Hey, I've done this. This is, this is how my situation was, and this is what my mine was like, and this is what I experienced." You can coalesce this information, and you see a pattern. You're like, okay, I feel like based on what all these people have experienced, this is what I expect, right? This is what I can look forward to, and so it becomes very important to, like, you have a base to work from, right? You have a base to work from. You have an information base to explore from. So it's guidance, it's verification of the facts, it's access to resources. That is why you shouldn't do this by yourself. Okay, so another benefit. So we've talked about one benefit being information and clarity. What it actually provides, number two, is practical support. Okay, and again, similar to what I just talked about, practical support, referrals, right? Around whether it's legal, immigration, career referrals. It can be around housing. I'm in a couple of groups on WhatsApp, and people are sharing opportunities. Be like, hey, so I know somebody looking for so and so skills around here, right? Within our own WhatsApp community and our, our internal community platforms, we're sharing opportunities. We have curated groups for different, that 7 different categories, right? We have one for students, sharing resources for students, internships, opportunities, volunteer opportunities, all that good stuff. We have one for professionals and entrepreneurs. In one space, and every day there's, okay, there's a job here, my company's hiring, there's fellowships to explore, check this out, it might work for you. Referrals, internal, and this is, you're getting inside scoop on things going happening within people's realms, right? So those referrals, practical support, shared resources, mutual aid. Like, hey, can somebody, I'm looking for help with so and so thing. Does somebody have access to do this? Like, oh, I need a caregiver to watch my kids, or da da da. Da. Who has any recommendation? I need people to clean my house. I have guests coming. Do you know somebody that can do it? Or I need somebody like this who lives around here trying to connect with other people. It's so many benefits uh, um, that we can get out of this. So many, so many benefits that we can get out of this, being part of community. And so we need to be immersing ourselves. And then another aspect of that practical support is mentorship and accountability. People who have gone ahead of you are able to, like, hey, hold your hand and hold you accountable. Or you can hold somebody else accountable. If you've gone ahead and you have expertise and experience, you can be the one to reach out to people and say, hey, this is how I can help. This is what happened to me, right? I've sat in sessions over the last couple of weeks, and it's people who have gone ahead of me saying, well, this asking me questions. I had a session with someone I consider a mentor. It's a senior older gentleman, and he asked me 1,000 questions around the work that we're doing and how to, and things I need to focus on and where I need to channel my energies. I sat with leaders in, within AIM, and these are people who have gone ahead and done certain things, and they get to ask questions and hold me accountable, make sure we're doing things. So it's, even for me, who is, you know leading a movement or driving this, it's still important even for me to immerse myself in these things, right? And so it's super important. There is so much. Someone said if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together, right? You can. How far can you go very fast? If you do sprints, sprints are typically short. So yes, you go from here to you run, you run 100 meters pretty fast in seconds, but then you're gassed after that. You can't continue because you've maxed out, right? Versus the marathon, the long distance, it's paced, but you see there's a lot more people and there's a lot more wins in under your sail, and most marathon runners have a healthy support system. You see them, you see them running, and you see these clips on Instagram where there's kids supporting their dads and husbands supporting their wives, and it's but for long distance runners, you see a lot of them have a support system that's helping them run the race, navigate the journey, and you see them showing up at the finish line just shouting and doing all of that. So don't be a sprinter, be a marathon runner. What do you call marathon runners? What do we call people that run marathons? Marathonians, whatever. All right. So that's another reason why community is important, vitally important. The next one is emotional stability and belonging. Emotional stability and belonging. Fear is reduced in community. Fear is heightened in isolation. If you are by yourself, you are an easy target. If you're in community, you feel like, you know what, you can see people like you in the same boat as you, or who have gone through the same thing you've gone through. And what that makes you believe is, I'm going to be okay. A lot of the time, all you just need to do is see people who have gone through it, and it's the reminder you need. That will be your comfort. That will be your encouragement to say, you know what, I'll be fine. I know it's stressful right now, but I'm going to be okay. You see people who have gone through, you know, maybe the 2008 economic recession, and you hear, man, economic crisis, all of this. You see people who dealt with immigration issues and have come out of it. You see people who are going through and navigating it, and it's step by step, and what that does for you. You see people who are navigating, even with family, like we have a platform for family, who are dealing with raising kids here and all of the ups and downs that, and the differences between how we're raised and how we're raising kids now. And you're in a community with them, and you hear what people are doing and dealing with and how they're navigating their own journeys. And it tells you, you know what, I'm going to be fine. I'm not by myself. There is something strengthening. There is something very encouraging about knowing you are not by yourself. It tells you you're going to be okay, right? You feel like, you know what, if they went through it and they came out okay, I believe I will. So there's that stability emotionally. There's that reduction in fear, right? You have this safety. If you feel like, man, it creates a psychological safety for you where, you can make better decisions. Okay. Again, because you're no longer making based decisions, chances of making mistakes are higher, right? There is a lot of data to prove this. It's fear-based decisions, you will make mistakes more than likely. But when you're in a situation where you are relaxed and now you can consider the facts clearly and make decisions with your sound mind and not under duress, under any kind of duress. So again, this is a call to action. If you are not plugged in, please get plugged in. Please get plugged in. All right. The other benefit of community is a collective voice and influence. Okay. When we come together, our voice is louder, our voice is stronger. Again, 2026 is the year where our voices need to be heard. Okay. In my small corner doing this, there's only how far this can reach. But the community getting behind this, it's going to push it even further. Okay, our voices are louder, and it needs to be. Our voices are louder together, and it needs to be this year. We need that critical mass. We need to come together as one people. And that's how we command influence. That's how we get attention. Okay, that's how we become stronger. Um, when we do advocacy together, our voice is amplified. Community presence in local spaces changes outcomes. If we come together, we can impact elections. Elections matter. This year is an election year. Midterms are coming up. We can't afford to just go about this carefree, right? Because If you weren't sure the effect or impact of elections, this current one should let you know how important. But this current season that we're in, this political atmosphere that we're experiencing or climate that we're navigating today, is a product of our involvement or lack thereof, right? We are not a strong enough voting pool, even though we have the numbers. And that is why our interests are not actively being advocated for in political spaces, in political discourse. It has to change. That has to change. I'm speaking very passionately today because I really want something to be different. That has to change. That has to change. We have the mass, we have the numbers, we can influence policy, we can influence decision making. But if you sit and decide you're not even going to vote, you're not even interested in what's going on within your council, within your school district, within your political ecosystem, you don't even know anything about anything going on in those spaces. You don't even know who is in your HOA. How can we make it different? We need to come together and start doing something about it. This needs to change, right? Now, I want to say this: community does not eliminate risk, but it lowers the cost of facing it alone, right? Can I still, with all of the facts, make a mistake or something not get the outcome I desire? Yes, it's possible. Okay, so I'm not saying, hey, just plug in and everything will be okay. No, but you're not doing it by yourself. You are not going through you again. Your chances of falling, of making a mistake, of getting in trouble, of just it's because again, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying the difference between legal status and undocumented is a delay in filing a form. It's one missed document. It's one that goes wrong. Like it's a lot of the time. It's just one small thing, And I was using that as a way to really solicit for empathy, and say, hey, people should have grace. A lot of people who are in immigration things, it's not because they're trying to be here illegally or trying to break any laws. It's more paperwork. It's more delays. It's uh, um, delays from USCIS and all of these places. It's small things that can take one from you are in legal status to you're not anymore, right? So, yes, community does not eliminate the risk, but it lowers the cost of facing it alone. So, how do we build and strengthen community intentionally? Um, One, show up consistently. You got to show up. We have our town halls Saturday the 31st. That's where it starts from. Show up for that. Register. Go and register today as you're listening to and watching this. When you see the clip, go to Eventbrite, go to the link in our page, go to our Instagram, and sign up for it. Show up, whether it's within your faith base, your church, that's an African church that you go to. Show up and get involved there. Okay, and I'm not even campaigning for any churches in particular, but that's community. Show up, be involved, let people know who you are, what you do, and your situation. Show up to the African Collective, where we are built for professionals. When we start our masterclass series next month, February 7th, show up, invite somebody, tell somebody about it, show up continually and consistently. What a lot of people do, what a lot of our people do is they wait until there is trouble. They wait until there's some kind of crisis and then they appear. You see, and then they start getting upset at the church. They start getting upset at the community. And in crisis, you want people to rally around you. But we don't even know who you are. You can't do that. That's not how it works. You have to be someone who's already contributing. You have to be part of building the community so that on the day you need the community has a level of like, we know who this person is. The community will not rally behind you because we're all African. There's too many of us that fit into that description. The community will rally behind you because they know who you are. One of the things that we try to do within the African American Collective is we try to make sure we are elevating voices that are constant contributors. So the people that we open up opportunity to speak, opportunities for anything we share, anything that is of a benefit to us that can highlight, benefit anybody from, we share with our people. But not just our people, but the people who that people who I pick up the phone and call, I say, hey, I think this should be good for you. Go apply for it. All right, we put things out generally, but there are specific ones like we say, no, this is not. We call people by the number. I say, listen, go talk to this person now, right? There are people who come and they think of it's the same thing with we see it in churches. We say people remember the church they attend when it's crisis, when somebody dies, when they want to get married, when they want to do things like when but or when they need something, then they remember they have a community. And if the community doesn't respond the way you expect, you get upset. You start calling people out and calling things and say that that's why we're not progressing. No, you're the reason why things are the way they are. You never showed up. You never contributed. You were never a part. And now you have crisis. Now you have a funeral to plan. Now you have something and you want people to show up for you. So show up consistently. Make a decision today to start showing up, to start being a part, to start contributing in your own community. Start contributing, show up consistently, contribute skills before you need help, right? If you become a knowledge partner, become a skilled person, like contribute any value you can bring before you need help. Stay connected to credible organizations and leaders. Find, like I said before, if you don't like certain spaces where you feel like, okay, it's not working, the way they move here is not what I like, or what it's not serving me. Find there's people like us, the African American Collective. When I say us, I mean the AIM Collective. There are organizations that are credible, that have solid leadership. Do your research and then plug in and then get involved. Okay, get involved. Plug in both professionally, professional networks, civic networks. AIM Collective, again, is a good place. I'll keep calling us out for what we do. We do great work. Go check out our LinkedIn and see the things we did. The master classes we had last year, every week had a program. Every week had an event. The conferences, the summits, it's just immense value that we pour in, and we are committed to continue to do on a week by week basis. And so it's important that we are all connect, like we were showing up, that we show up, that we plug in, that we contribute, right? Whether it's, again, faith groups, alumni circles, AIM Collective, join. All right, that's how we build community intentionally. That is how it's going to work. That is how we plug in. Community is your green card. All right. I hope everyone is getting something out of this. I know I'm being very passionate, but that's because the way the world, the way the country is now, let's say my country, the way country did now, it gets to be, it gets country be right now, my people. So please and please don't try to navigate this by yourself. It's not safe out there. And last week I debuted a new segment within the Thriving Beyond Borders called Immigration Pulse. And is this why I talk about also ongoing events, things that are on my mind. I guess I'll call it what's on my mind, what's bugging Namdi. And again, the purpose of this segment is to inform, to ground, and mobilize without agitating. I am not an activist, I'm an advocate, right? Ask him like I'm not a preacher of I'm not a preacher of love. I'm a war. No, I'm a preacher of love. All right. So I want to talk about just we've seen a lot more of an increased enforcement internally here, increased enforcement with ICE. We're seeing U.S. immigration and custom enforcement. They've intensified their interior enforcement in several U.S. cities. Right, arrests are occurring during routine check-ins, community interactions, and this is increasing fear. Now, why does this matter? Why is this important for us to talk? Heightened anxiety affects work, school, and daily life, and misinformation spreads very quickly. All right, it's even people who have legal status are worried. Is somebody going to, because of how I sound, pull me over? Do I need to carry my passport everywhere I go? Right, we're seeing people who are legal, who have their citizenship in trouble. Initially, when the conversation was introduced, it was meant to target criminals. It was meant to target people who were breaking the law. Now it's targeting, it's going after even hardworking taxpayers, you know, people with legal status. I saw a hearing of a gentleman, and he said he kept on shouting, "I'm a citizen." He kept on speaking out, "I'm a citizen," and he was still arrested and taken to a detention center. And so it's crazy times um, that we live in. And again, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of fear within the community. It's even if you have everything intact, people, we know people that are still, we know people who are still going through, um, the process and, trying to work their way into legal status. We know people who maybe their kids are legal, but they're for some reason they're in different situations, and so they are navigating that. And so when things like that happen, it's easy for anybody on the other, who is not, in this boat to say, well, go and then fix it or to go back and all. But how the reset, you're basically resetting your whole life to start afresh if everybody goes with that option, right? How does that affect the kids and the opportunities for them, And so all of this is why it's crazy and we need to be careful. So, what do we need to do? Right. Again, I want to provide some measured guidance. Stay informed through credible sources, not social media. Right. Go on USCIS pages. Go on the right websites, credible sources, government sources, and stay informed. As much as possible. Don't Again, the whole objective of social media is innuendo and stirring up reaction. And if you make that your primary source, you will be upset all the time. You will be angry all the time. So stay informed from credible sources. Number two, know your rights and keep your documentation organized. Right? Know your rights. You still have rights. Documented, undocumented, you have rights, especially if you already started your process. You have rights. Know them. Keep your documents organized. And number three, stay connected to community organizations. Stay connected to there's organizations within our sphere, the Black community, the immigrant community that that share verified updates. Again, avoid innuendo, avoid clickbaity platforms that their whole thing is to stir up a reaction. For us, we don't have that luxury. In a sense, we need to be measured in our response, and how we move, and then avoid isolation. Fear thrives alone. Clarity thrives in community. Avoid avoid isolation. And I'm going to add one that I don't have here in my notes. And I would say, especially if you're still in your process navigating your immigration and, maybe you have your paperwork in and you're in waiting or, you're still going through certain things, please make sure you are connected to, you have an immigration lawyer on file, right? Initiate conversations, have one that that you build a relationship with, and have their number handy. Okay, in case of anything, you have a number to call, right? Because you want somebody who knows the law in your corner who can call and do paperwork, drive certain things on your behalf. Okay, again, that's why you will need to be connected and immersed in these circles, in our community circles, so that we can know people, get access to the right people, and then have your immigration lawyers on standby, just in case. I said last week, don't go anywhere you don't need to go. It can be outside everywhere, especially in specific cities where enforcement is a little higher. There is, you know, preferences. There's cities. The administration now is leaning into specific cities, because of their voting direction. I'll leave it at that. But please, in the end, I don't want you to panic. We want to respond with preparation and connection. Okay, so let's get connected. Let's stay connected. Immerse yourself in community. Have the right numbers in place. Start studying up on what are your rights. How do I respond if I'm in this situation? What should I say and what shouldn't I say? The same way when we first came to the US, a lot of us we had to learn how to navigate in engagement and interactions with police. If you're pulled over, it's the same thing now with ICE, and also study up on what's the right responses, what is okay to say, what is not okay to say. Have your paperwork in place, right? Have it, know where it is, so that if you need to make a call and say, get me this information, it's easy to get. All of that. So that's the thing I want to highlight. There's other things, but I'm going to stop here because it's already 12 o'clock. But I will wrap up here. I hope, before I wrap it up, I'll say this. Uh, Please do one thing for me this week. Connect yourself, identify, if you're not already, identify and connect yourself to a trusted community group. That is my biggest call to action today. Reconnect or connect. Again, the African American Collective will welcome you. We want you to be a part of um, us. If you're African navigating your journey, we welcome you to be a part of the movement. But make sure you're connected to a trusted community group and share verified information responsibly is the other thing I want. You don't just repost everything you find on Instagram. If you find information that's going to be reasonable and useful to somebody, share it responsibly. Share it where it's actually going to be benefit people and not just generate innuendo. Attend a local meeting or volunteer. Okay, attend a local meeting or volunteer within the organization you've identified. Again, reach out to us within AIM. We have a ton of opportunities for people to get plugged in, for people to volunteer, to do stuff. Um, our town hall is coming up on the 31st. It's going to be our first community wide event of the year. The details will be in the description or on our social media somewhere. Please sign up and show up, right? But attend events. Let's talk. We'll be talking about these things and check in on somebody who may be isolating, maybe because they're afraid. Okay, check in with somebody like, hey, maybe they're scared and so they've gone dark. Make sure they're good checking on them, and then again, here at the African American Collective, we have a lot of opportunity for you to add value and to receive value. Okay, we're always trying to give value, but we don't. The value we give is a product of the people within who have decided to give and pour from their skills. We've recently adjusted our leadership operations, and so now there is resource groups within the community where you can plug in specifically into areas you're interested in. So if you want to do events, we have something for you. You want to be your media, we have a space for you. You want to share, you want to speak and teach. That's your passion, and you have expertise and skills and experience in an area. We have something for you. We have a place for you. You want to explore leadership. There's openings in those directions as well. You want to do policy. You are good at fundraising. Whatever it is that your realm. Please let's talk. We'll get you plugged in. Um, but again, we'll be talking about these opportunities during our town hall on the 31st. So let's come together and make this a great one and a great year. All right. So in 2026, as I wrap this up, documents will open doors, but community keeps you standing when the door shifts or when the ground shifts. Right? It will be there for you. Community is the new green card. All right. Thank you all so much. I'd love to again, if you have any thoughts, any comments, or anything about any thoughts around what we've shared today, please send us a drop a comment. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do so. If you're not on LinkedIn, again, connect to us on all the platforms, follow us on Instagram, do all the things. We have our WhatsApp communities now and it's buzzing. Make sure you get plugged in and let's do it. Thank you all so much. God bless you. And I will see you all next week. But till then,